Fellow Toastmasters, our first speaker today, Kristina Roe, will be presenting out of her Confident Communicator Manual, speech number 2. In her last speech, the icebreaker, she gave a superb job introducing herself to the club. Now, I've had the opportunity to work with Kristina closely for the last 6 months, and I've gotten to know her quite well, but mostly from a work standpoint, which her work characteristics, her work abilities are also admirable. So, for most people, her career doesn't solely define her, and she is no exception to this. So today she's going to give us a little bit more information about her interests. Now, Project 2 of the Confident Communicator Manual is organize your speech. And for the speech objectives, she'll have to pick an outline that allows listeners to easily follow and understand. Make her message clear with supporting material directly contributing to the message. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another, and create a strong opening and conclusion. Her personal objectives for this speech is to sound authentic rather than rehearsed, to cut down on her filler words, and to interact with her visual aids. Her speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Green light at 5, yellow light at 6, and red light at 7. So please help me welcome fellow rising star Kristina Roe as she presents her second speech titled Friday Night Lights.
Truly, I did tell it to not go to sleep. Apparently it was tired. Do you have what it takes? Do you have the endurance to push through even when your muscles are screaming it? Do you have the strength to keep working even when the summer is swelteringly hot and the nights are freezingly cold? And do you have the discipline to work towards a common goal, to ignore your own personal complaints, to improve the team? Do you have what it takes to be in a different kind of Friday Night Lights? The marching band. All right, like you, I probably would have laughed a little bit had it not been for the fact that I joined my high school marching band in high school. I learned that marching takes a certain type of skill, and it definitely takes that dedication to the team. Today, I'll be talking about the 3 basic skills that I learned in marching band. They are the fundamentals of marching, the choreography of marching, and the timing. The fundamentals get you moving, the choreography gets you moving in the right direction, and the timing gets you there at the right time. Many of you have probably seen a marching band at some point in time, and you might have noticed that they seem confident and strong. Part of that might be the shoulder pads in our uniforms, but really, we've been taught to have a very good posture, a posture of standing tall at all points in time, whether we're on the field or off, as well as making sure that both our torso and our instrument face front with our shoulders squared. Additionally, we need to make sure that our instruments are held high and, again, exuding a sense of confidence. Of course, you can't get away with a mere simulation of this type of posture. You need to truly embrace it. I told you that the fundamentals would get you moving, and I truly meant it. The next part of the fundamentals is the technique of motion. There are 2 general types of marching techniques, that of the high toe and that of the high step. The high toe is a technique to have a smooth gait, and is characterized by having a high toe when stepping forward and rolling through. The high step is another type of technique characterized by many college bands. This, as you can see here, is a little bit more athletic, but is simply another type of technique. Whichever marching technique your band embraces, all of the members need to be deliberate and very clear with this technique. The fundamentals have gotten you moving, but the choreography is what will tell you where you need to be moving to. The drill is a marching band term that we use to define for this type of chart seen here on the left. It depicts a specific moment in time of the show. And this specific moment in time, the choreography is also called a set. Now, the drill seen here has many lines. These lines represent the yard lines on the football field, and the hashes similarly represent the hashes. Each dot on the drill corresponds to an individual band member, and that band member must recognize which dot they are on the drill. So you can begin to understand from this image of the entire team on the field, you realize that each individual has once looked at the drill to realize where they're supposed to be located at this point in time. Of course, you're on a team, so there's more to the choreography than where you individually need to be at a given point in time. There's the uniformity of the image you're trying to create. That's where you need to realize that straight lines and smooth curves are more important than you thinking you've reached the exact point you need to be. You need to be aware of where everyone else in the band is around you. For this reason, I've shown 3 images of my high school's marching band performed as my senior year. The first set is somewhat difficult because we are, as a group, trying to achieve straight lines. But realistically, we have painted white lines on the field that we're all standing on, so it's not that hard. The next set, on the right, is somewhat harder. While we're trying to achieve the straight lines on the field, we also have these diagonal lines. They're a little more difficult, but you can eventually, during rehearsals, look down the line to make sure you're straight. However, the last set that I'm showing you here is definitely the hardest type of choreography to achieve uniformity. And that's because it is not a straight line, but rather a curve. The entire band needs to be cognizant of who's around them so that they know if they're adequately portraying the set that the entire band is supposed to be. All right, the fundamentals and the choreography have got you moving in the right direction, but you still need to know when you need to get there. That's where the timing of the show comes into play. As I said before, the set of each show is a specific point in time. However, it's this transition between all the sets that is the motion of the show. Here, I'm displaying 4 different sets of the show. As the band moves from set 1 to 2, the audience will experience a visual motion of all the members. And the timing needs to be accurate for all the members so that this visual is adequately portrayed. For example, between set 2 and set 3, these band members in this curve will slowly move into this S curve. It's important that the members of the band take equal distance steps between step 2 and step 3, so that this S curve is formed at the same time this S curve is formed. And finally, tying it all together with the timing is the incorporation of music into the show. Typically, the band members step in time with the tempo of the song, and the number of steps between sets is usually the number of beats between measures. So for example, you see this music below, we have set 2 here and set 3 here in the music. There are 4 measures between these 2 sets and 4 beats per measure. 4 times 4 is 16. We have 16 steps between set 2 and set 3. This way the band will all take equal distance 16 steps between these 2 sets, and the show will be accurately and smoothly portrayed. You've just learned all the fundamentals that I learned my first year in marching. I thought it would be extremely difficult to learn, but really, as I've broken it down, it's quite simple. You need to remember how to march, how to get moving, where you're going from the choreography, and when you need to get there based on the time. I started this presentation asking, do you have it? And realistically, if you have the willpower and you put forth the effort, you can do it. That's what I learned in my high school marching band. You can achieve great things if you put forth the effort and make some great friends along the way.